they pulled the emergency alert system to planet Earth. Right? So he was there. It's called the Million Man March. The reason why they had to do the Million Man March, because I'm not going to participate if you niggas not going to get together for something. Y'all got to just stand together one time for something, and I'll tear this bitch up till they give it to you. And nobody wasn't standing up. They all got an excuse. They all after their own bag. They ain't doing nothing for the community. Everybody doing it for selfish game. I don't want no bunch of motherfucking selfish, self-centered, entitled ass feel like they've got something coming to them. No, you don't. You got to earn your keep, or you don't need to be here. So when they had the Million Man March, that was a massive alarm system alert. That means that even the dirty Moors forgot what the fuck was going on. Even they got this shit wrote down on the logs in the motherfucking Masonic lodges. And still forgot how to undo the shit. Because they can't read their own fucking code. They got half the keys. They call it broken keys, missing keys. That's because they're not doing the proper due diligence in order to get to a part to close the motherfucking shit out. If you go back and listen to my first dialogue with Todd, she said, as soon as I seen you, I said, here, close it. I'm not here. I don't want none of this shit. If my sisters can't have what's rightfully theirs, I will tear this bitch up. But we brain banging now. And I want to tear some shit up. Right? But they said it ain't necessary. All I got to do is show them motherfuckers that my feathers whoop your feds. And I said, that's all I got to do? Call me the GOAT. Label me Baphomet. Classify me coming with the Lucifer lens. But as soon as y'all figure out what all that shit means, you be like, yep.
Let me get to this next question, Rod. When we die, our soul goes where?
Back to the source from which it came, meaning you go before the prime. Your soul is the energy of creation. First and foremost, you can't sell your soul. That shit is some Enlil bullshit. Can't nobody buy your soul, because if they did, they can't do nothing but give it to you. Your soul only fits you. It's not a motherfucking one-size-fit-all thing. Your soul is the sum total of who you are. So that's not some shit you can barter and trade. Just like the earth. You can't sell earth. What kind of dumb shit is that? It was already here. It's gonna be here when you leave. Right? All of the chiefs know that. So when I hear somebody talking about buying land in America, I know they ain't from here. Anybody from America, that's the tribes, know that we operate by the great law. We don't follow man's law. So that's going to automatically make us an outlaw. Then you ask about Tut, about Akhenaten, ties back to the same thing. Right? So the outlaw lines are the lines of the kings and queens who was born from out of the direct royal family, and they all have an opportunity to take the test if they can develop the noble traits, the noble character. Right? That's what Noble Drew Ali name is telling you.
Who is Michelle? Because people are asking about Michelle. If Obama was the clone of Akhenaten, who is Michelle Queen Ty?
I don't fuck with Michelle like that, dog. There's more than one Michelle. One of them ain't no fucking woman. And there's another one that's a woman. And she's the one that was trying to get those girls out of the sex trafficking industry that bought them as her children. That's what that was all about. And they used the other one with the equipment, with the masculine equipment. I just never, that motherfucker always looked funny to me. I couldn't understand why nobody else didn't notice it. They told me I was hating on the black lady. And I was like, really? I guess y'all don't know Stallion is a man.
I ain't going there with you today, Rod. I ain't
going
with you today, Rod.
Tell them to research Joshua Pete. I don't know nothing about that. I'm just saying, if the chief can't see a male horse from a female horse, he don't need to be in this position.
Man,
I know what a stallion is, and I know the mayors run the motherfucking town.
Oh.
If you don't know the difference, then I feel for you.
Whew. Was Jamaica a special location in the old world?
All of the islands was revered by the peoples of the mainland. We will tear some shit up about them islands, but we all got invaded together. So this is how we used to work between North and South America and the Central American islands. Once the islands was developed, the big mamas from the mainlands was coming to us, but rare to them to the islands. And the families go on a retreat there, present the big mama of the island with the gifts. And then they send us back stuff that we would call delicacies from the island that we wouldn't otherwise see on the mainland. Right? So that's how we paid for their hospitality and their receiving us with open arms. If you go back to the Christopher Columbus story, they'll tell you soon as the boats got to the land, they came bearing gifts. The natives came bearing gifts. This is the custom. Mm-hmm. And then he came with a contract, and we ain't been right ever since.
Mm-hmm. Let's get to the next question. I just seen it. Where did it go? Damn, I seen the question. I don't know where it go. While I look for this question, Rod, you mentioned, I'm gonna ask you one earlier. You mentioned black goo. I forgot what we was talking about, but you talked about the substance black goo. Could you elaborate on what this black goo was that you talked about a little earlier?
Yeah, it's Anunnaki nanotech. It can be passed on genetically because it's created between the third and fourth dimension. So it got a different set of properties. If you go to the Qigong healers, they'll tell you they've been seeing this a lot. A lot of people was breaking free from the black goo, right? But it's a very specific nanotechnology that creates what's called sentient metals. And they come in and they ride on your DNA. And that's how they keep you from accessing your chakras. But now the solar rays is designed by Enki that when the human body starts going into the Aquarian cycle, the black goo will start to lose its potency on the human being because we're starting to upgrade in our power. It won't work no more. We in the process now where before the energy healers couldn't see it. Now they can see it.
Okay. Let's get to a super chat question. Are you familiar with the concept of creating your astral pyramid? That the same way the Bible talks about a mansion in heaven.
So it's not a pyramid. Your astral, what he's talking about, it's the same as Metatron's cube. That's your Merkabah.
Merkabah, okay. Yeah, I thought it was
right. That's your Merkabah. That's the energy ship for you to travel to other galaxies and universes. When you leave the physical avatar of the body, you have to use your mind to create the Merkabah in order for it to transport you. Remember, I was telling you in some places you could think of the blueprint and tell the metal to do it, and it'll just form it. It kind of work along the same principles, but you designing your own light ship. It's made out of bending rays of light into conscious mind with the conscious mind tapping into the subconscious.
Okay, let's get to the next question. Okay. Has Rod ever heard of Kimberly and Gauguin from Life Force?
Gauguin from Life Force. I don't know. I can't say I have. The name written looks familiar, but I be reading so much stuff until it comes to necessary. Like 2 days from now, I might remember clearly who she is. I mean, it'd have been a while since I accessed that information, but consciously off the top of my head, I don't know who she is, but the name looks familiar.
Okay. Can you talk about the serpent mounds in Ohio?
They ain't just in Ohio. Those serpent mounds are sacred centers of energy to harness certain spiritual essence by the clans whose blood sink to those mounds. All of the mounds that you see on the planet, all of the pyramids and what you call megalithic structures that was made by man are all genetically synced to a bloodline at one of the original 12 daughters of Isis.
Okay. Let's get to the next question. What is your take on Rashad Jamal?
That's divine insight. Reincarnated Jean-Baptiste Dusable. No, not Dusable. He was Toussaint Louverture. And the reason he locked up is because they playing out the Haitian revolutionary conjure in reverse, and he's a critical piece. So if you go back and read the Haitian revolutionary conjure and you overlay his life with Toussaint, you understand why they had to lock him up before they release him. It's because you have to close it the same way you opened it. That's because everything is in cycles. So you got to wait until the alignment of the stars and the energy of the earth meet to a certain position to exit. So when you leaving out, you see the mirror of what you saw going in. It's called a turnaround. So in order for him to get the turnaround, he got to go through this shit, bullshit, made up ass shit, until they start doing certain energy moving exercises in IAT.
Let's get to this question. Is there a link between the Gullah Sumerian goddess and the Gullah Geechee of the Carolinas?
I wouldn't say it's a direct link, but they could be bloodline relatives, but I don't know if the name is betraying that. Because Enki had children with multiple earthborn women all over the planet. And that's one of his tribes that's in the land of Tahuti, is the Gullah Geechee. And you got the Gullah Geechee, the Getty Geechee, the Gullah Getty Geechee. They're all different tribes, but that's telling you they point of origin. I don't remember reading about the Gullah Sumerian goddess. So I have to go back to my tablets and review that in order to give you a definitive answer if they're related.
Okay, next question. What are rainbows in the sky? My daughter always sees them before me. Rainbows in the sky.
Those are refractions of light from the mist and the rays of the sun reflecting off the water in the atmosphere. The density of it or the curvature of the upper atmosphere makes it look curved, right? But if you follow the mist, you can find the end of the rainbow. And they write about it biblically as the sign of an eternal covenant. Because they always been here, they're going to always be here. So the rainbow being a symbol for the permanent covenant or the eternal covenant, which is that the women will always have first right to the earth rights. And now we going back to honor that. But that's why they use the rainbow as a symbol of an eternal covenant, right? Because they always been there ever since the dome or the atmospheric structure looked like it bends the light.
Okay.
Your daughter might be an indigo too, because she could see them. Remember, I was talking about the spectrum of light. It worked with the rainbows too. Sometimes she could be tuning the father in to the spectrum she on by making him see the rainbow, because he might have to look just his eyes just slightly off in order to see on her frequency. So she'll see it first. And she might be an indigo because she can see a broader spectrum of light than the average child.
Okay. Do we incarnate in every age?
No. Only the masters, like, I'm only going to come back when it's like, I'm the last resort. Normally I come back, they don't wake me up. They don't want me in this shit. Right? So most of my past lives, I never woke to who I am like I am now in this life. But we don't always reincarnate in every age, but we will reincarnate in every cycle of ages, which is a 24,000-year loop. And you can reincarnate at different periods. You could skip a whole age and be in every other age, the other 3 ages in the cycle.
Okay. There's some good information here, y'all. Damn, the chat moving so fast, y'all. I'm happy, y'all. Okay. Why I only see spaceships in the dream world and not my day-to-day?
They talking to you in the dream world. Don't think because you don't see them in your day-to-day that that's any less valuable than seeing them in your dream. Some people don't get that lucky. Right? So your dream self, which is your higher body, when you go into the dream state, you're either going to travel for studying, most of those are masters, or you go on the life review. Mm-hmm. The life review come in as abstract, is based off your emotional triggers and have you learned from the last time you fucked up. And then your dreams will start telling stories that you're supposed to learn from. But we've been taught to disassociate the dream world from the physical world, right? But the spaceships in the dream world is the same as seeing them in the physical world, technically, because they're between the fifth and the fourth dimension at that point, which means in the 3D world, they just out of your visual spectrum of light.
Okay. How do we access the Akashic records?
So you can access the Akashic records through meditation, but it takes years of meditating. The Akashic records is not really what you want to access unless you're trying to do the work that I'm doing, trying to get the whole earth back to the women. But normally your book of life will tell you everything that you need to know, because before you take physical form, you put it in your book of life at critical points what you want to happen to alert you to certain information. Right? So the high masters read the Akashic records just like reading off a chalkboard. It's like holographically in front of them. Some of them emotively, they can read their emotions so well they can put them in words. Those are called poets.
Wow. What is the purpose of twin flames, Brother Rod?
The twin flames, it's really no true such thing as a twin flame. But you got what's called a promise, which is your counterpart that's you made the agreement with to aid and assist you in finding your balance in the earth realm so you can get your faculties and remember who the fuck you is. The twin flame drama has been, with the so-called woke movement, drawn completely out of proportion, highly distorted, and it also causes people to neglect their shadow work because they're looking for somebody else called a twin flame to come do it for them. But you're supposed to be soul groups. You come in a soul group. Your soul group emerged from the essence that you emerged from at the same time you did. It's like giving birth to twins, but only through different people on different parts of the planet. Or they could be in the same part of the planet, but you might not meet them for years to come. So when you feel that draw to them, that's why they call it the twin flame. It's like a mirror flip.
Okay. Trying to give me 1 second, Rod. Give me 1 second. All right. Can Rod talk about Haile Selassie and Rastafari?
Haile Selassie of the Earthborn. Malachi wrote a book called Haile Selassie the Christ, where he gives his whole lineage. And the reason he did that, so he can prove that Haile Selassie wasn't from Enlil's in line. Once he proved that he wasn't a so-called, then I knew he was an Earthborn. He reincarnated in the guy named Hermes Ashkaron. That's who he reincarnated as. The Rastafari was the name the Rastas gave him, but he didn't refer to himself as Rastafari. But that was his original name before he ascended the emperor's seat over Ethiopia. His name was Rastafari. But Haile Selassie became his name after the name change. And the reason why the Rastas focused on Haile Selassie, because they knew that he would be instrumental. Okay, so you're looking at the elders in the hills of Jamaica. And they talking to nature, and nature is talking back to them. They reading this play written by Marcus Garvey about the last king being crowned in Africa, right? and that's the king of heaven and earth, which there has never been one before. So when they see Haile Selassie, he wasn't crowned as king. He was crowned as emperor. That's a whole different person from the prophecy they extracted from the translation of the play using, but they knew that somewhere over there in the Abzu, somebody would emerge at the close of the age to fix this shit, and that Haile Selassie had what you call it, transmuted his energy from the Rastafari to Haile Selassie, right? King of King, Lord of Lords, conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. But he ain't no, so they telling us that he's gonna be instrumental and critical at the close of the age in order to close out everything and see clearly what's to take place. And for those who don't know, Hermes Ashkenaz, Hermes is the same as saying Hermes in Greek, right? And that's another name for Tahuti. Mm-hmm. And Ashkenaz, I forgot what that means. I used to know what it means. But that, for the ones in on the West Coast, they know him to be Nipsey Hussle. Right? So if you go back and you study Nipsey, you'll see he had a meteoric rise and then he disappeared. They say he got murdered.
Right.
Right? That's the sign of a master that can, the phoenix, where he can burn in his own ashes and rise from them. It's the same with Tupac, Biggie, Eazy-E.